Tonight marks the 2-week point since 67 people were killed after an Army helicopter collided with American Airlines Flight 5342 near Reagan National. Now, Fox 5 is learning air safety officials may be looking to make a permanent change when it comes to helicopters flying near the airport. Tom Fitzgerald is live at Reagan National. Fitz, what do we know about this plan so far?
Well, good evening. You know, there has been a temporary flight restriction on helicopter flights near Reagan National since January 29th of this aviation disaster. Now, there are indications that that temporary flight restriction may become permanent. Here's what's going on. Wall Street Journal reporting exclusively today that the FAA officials are now considering a transfer, making that temporary flight restriction permanent. Now, since that accident, nearly all helicopter traffic in and around Reagan National Airport, except for non-emergency flights, has been diverted from this area. If this were to happen, though, the Wall Street Journal's Andrew Tangle, who's an aviation correspondent for the Post, tells us that other transportation officials in other departments of the federal government would have to agree.
If that does become a reality, they've got to involve the DOT secretary, the DOD secretary, because the DOD and a bunch of other government agencies have long used these helicopter routes.
Now, the timing on all of this is key because just yesterday, Congressman Don Beyer, Democrat from Virginia, and the delegations from both Maryland and the District of Columbia wrote the FAA demanding to know the qualifications and the determinations they will use to figure out whether or not to keep this restriction in place. In fact, Congressman Beyer tells Fox 5 today that he just wrote Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth asking him to move these military flight helicopter training missions.
You know, why do the training flights have to be that close to the airport? We know that they're going to, sadly, one day they might be necessary to get the president out of town. Well, let's go train much farther down the river or up the river when the planes are much, much higher.
Fox 5 reached out to both the FAA and the NTSB today. Neither said they were available for a comment. The National Transportation Safety Board said the day after the accident they expected to issue a preliminary report within 30 days. As it stands here tonight, that's about 2 weeks away. We're live at Reagan National Airport tonight. We'll send it back to you.